Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about a really hot topic, which is the fifth generation and if it is starting or not, and which groups are the starters of this new generation. I remind you that I am a small channel and every kind of support is appreciated, so consider subscribing and leaving a like. Having said that, let's move on to the video. For the people that don't know, the K-pop community tends to divide groups into generations, putting together groups that debuted more or less simultaneously. Here's an image that breaks down the timeline of generations in K-pop. As you can see, we are currently in the fourth generation, which began in 2017, so it's been around 6 years and a half since it started. As I said in one of my unpopular opinions videos, a lot of people make the same mistake when the topic of generations in K-pop comes up, which is that they think they are a real thing. I know you are confused, let me explain. A generation doesn't only share a similar debut year but also, for lack of a better term, the same vibe. Of course, if two groups are in the same generation it doesn't mean that they look the same or they make similar music. No one sane would say that ITZY and IVE sound similar to each other. I am talking about a general vibe and some subtle features in common, not only in their music but also, for example, in their marketing strategies or the way they communicate with their audiences, or the way they are trained. Those are just examples, but I think it helps you understand that a generation is way more than a bunch of groups that debut about the same time or if their music sound kinda similar. When a shift occurs and people start to feel like the vibe of the industry is changing, then it's time to accept that we are entering a new era of K-pop. I support the idea that the fifth generation is starting and agree that Baby Monsters and Zero Bastion will probably be the first girl and boy group of the generation, and I am gonna explain why. I see common characteristics about them that differentiate them from the previous generations. Of course, they didn't even debut, so this is more of an educated guess than a fact, but my comments are open, so if you disagree, express your opinion below. So first of all, I see a stronger and stronger aim at the international market, especially if we are talking about Baby Monster. If you paid attention to their stupid-ass fake selection process, did you notice that 95% of the songs they covered were in English? Even their new song Dream was in English. Don't forget that we are talking about a K-pop group and their main language should be Korean. When you think about it, it's kinda crazy how much English K-pop groups that are debuting right now are using. Now, a lot of groups look at the international market, especially after the global popularization of K-pop, thanks to groups like Blackpink, BTS, Twice, Girl Generations, 2NE1 etc. But did you notice that groups are starting to use more and more English and have more and more foreign members? Another thing I am seeing is a change in the training process. I am starting to notice that, now, companies care way more about actual skills, and they are not debuting idols just because they are pretty, as much as before. Now, visuals are still very important, but the new groups that are debuting or that are about to, are pretty skilled, especially compared to the 4th gen standards. I see that particularly if we talk about singing. Both Baby Monster and Zero Bastion have stronger vocal lines, compared to the groups that debuted before them. And I see this also in the way companies promote their groups. The whole fake selection process of Baby Monster was about highlighting the skills of the girls. And, also, even if survival shows have always existed, I have the impression that this time the final lineup of Boys Planet was a little more meritocratic than usual. I can't talk about their music, since they didn't even debut yet, but I am sure we'll feel a change in that aspect too because we are already seeing it with groups like NewJeans, LE SSERAFIM, Kep1er etc. I want to close this video with a final concept. I am sure that some of you will say, wait, but Group X or Y have the same characteristics and they are 4th generation. Let me introduce you to my idea of 4.5 gen groups, in other words, groups that are part of the late 4th generation, and that share some characteristics with the 5th generation, and that kinda anticipated this shift I am talking about. One example of that can be NewJeans and XG, for the music shift and also the stronger aim for the international market. We can especially see that, if we focus on XG and its interesting marketing strategy. I won't talk about them in depth because I am planning to make a video about them in the future, but we all know they release English songs, and they promote in Korea too, but their main aim is the international market. And Mix and Classy, instead, can be an example of very skilled groups, and we can tell their training is different than the one their peers received. Okay, that's it. I hope you liked this video. Let me know what you think about this topic. I am really curious to read your opinions. I remind you to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Bye bye.